Total early votes so far, we've got about a little over 1.4 million votes have been cast in a combination of voting by mail and early voting in person. The early voting in person is exceeding vote by mail as it normally does. We've got about 810,000 early votes that have been cast so far statewide compared to 625,000 mail ballots that have already been marked and returned by voters and received. That's a pretty big number for the number of votes cast before Election Day in Illinois. It was a week ago that Chicago and Cook County substantially expanded their early voting locations. And since that happened, we really saw the numbers surge. We have right at 8 million, just a little over 8 million total registered voters. So about 1.4 million of those have already voted. Turnout in 2016, 71% turnout, and in 2020, 73% turnout. That was the highest turnout since 1992. So that was the highest in the previous 7 presidential elections. I think we should hit or surpass that 73% based on what we're seeing. Anecdotally, we've been just absolutely flooded with voter calls for the last, I would say, 2 weeks, asking about, well, how do I register? Yes, you do have through the end of the day, October 31st, to apply for a vote by mail ballot. But if you do that, it's only 5 days before the election. There is a chance, depending on how your mail service works in your area, that it might be Monday, it might be election day, and you still haven't received your vote by mail ballot and you're getting panicky about it. So if that happens to you, don't panic. If you have applied for a vote by mail ballot, but you haven't received it yet, you can go on that Monday or Sunday, if you have it, to an early voting site, or on election day, you can go to your polling place and the election judge, when you give them your name and address, they'll see that you have requested and been mailed a vote by mail ballot. Then you'll tell them, I didn't get it. And so you'll sign an attestation that says, I applied for but did not receive my vote by mail ballot. I'm hereby forfeiting my vote by mail ballot, and I'm choosing to vote in person instead. At that point, your mail ballot's canceled. You'll be instructed that if it does arrive, you should destroy it. If you're not registered now, there's no need to panic. You can still do that. It's just that if you're going to have to vote at the same time you register. So just be aware of that. As always, voters can check our website, elections.il.gov, to find out where their early voting locations are, what the hours for early voting are. An awful lot of jurisdictions are going to have weekend hours coming up in this final weekend. A lot of them have expanded evening hours now that we're in the last week before the election. So come to our website, look up your jurisdiction. You'll be able to find the hours and location for early voting.